Okay, that's so cool. That is so cool. And a twist I didn't quite see coming, although I did mention like I was getting some senses of like maybe something cosmic happening. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melinda Reaper. I'm a filmmaker and also a huge metal fan. I've started reacting to metal music videos on the internet now, on YouTube, and I've been enjoying it so much. It's been such an surprising amount of fun, and also to engage with everyone and to chat about these videos. And I'm just really excited that you seem to be enjoying it as well. And I really couldn't be more excited to do more of these. So please keep your suggestions going, and let's keep talking about like the meaning of these videos and like all of the creative stuff that people do. So today on the roster I got Bring Me the Horizon and their video for KOOL-AID. Now I'm familiar with Bring Me the Horizon. I have not seen too many of their videos, but I have heard good things about this one. I'm really excited to check it out. And without further ado, I'm gonna get into it. Whoa. So much going on. My goodness. What where do I start? So I just recorded the Sleep Token Alkaline video and we had all of these guns going on, and now, you know, the opening shot is these guns yet again. I will reiterate it. I'll say it again. I'm not a huge fan of guns. Even in video, like even in films, like I think that as filmmakers we have a certain responsibility, and you know, being a little bit more careful about, you know, kind of frivolous portrayals of guns. So I'll just, you know, let's just get that out of the way first. Interesting is that immediately, like, we have like the bunch of kids that's being lined up to get shot. Awful. Like, that's a really horrible visual. It looks good visually for sure. Like, technically it looks good. Like the imagery of it is just really disturbing. Also, the opening line I found very confusing. Society is the biggest crime against humanity, but humanity and society are essentially the same because you can't have one without the other. Like they're the same thing. Humanity is society. So I don't quite understand what they mean with that. I think they're probably okay. And then obviously we get into it and we see a lot of Catholic Church references, and probably this is about the, you know, the hypocrisy of the church. And they have this young woman who comes up to dance for these old like priests or cardinals or whatever, or bishops. And we have them here also, where I paused it, we have the band in this stunningly lit, beautiful, you know, set designed location with all of these, you know, kind of gothic influences. We have the skull on the right, or mask, whatever it is. We have all of the candles, and we have the feathers, and it feels a little bit like they're in a cathedral. Beautiful rugs on the floor, it looks like. And again, we have this cool tone blue light and the orange yellow warm light, which always looks spectacular, but we see it in almost every video. I'm guessing that they're going to be making a solid point by the end of this, so maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I'm definitely curious as to what this is going to be. So let's continue watching. They've got so many set pieces going on here. It's amazing, and it's moving very fast. Like, the editing is very high paced, but look at, I don't know where they shot this. It must have been like maybe a set that was built for them. Like, usually in metal videos, you'll see that they're shooting at a practical location because that's a lot cheaper. Now, we know that Bring Me the Horizon, obviously, like, they're on a big label, they have a lot of money behind them, they make a lot of money, so obviously they're going to spend a lot more money on their videos too. So I love the way that this looks. It's very pretty. I think here kind of what we're seeing is these guys are, you know, seated to watch this, you know, pole dancer perform, and we're kind of in you know, what's implied to be a bit of like a seedy bar. Like, they have their glasses of whiskey and they're drinking and they're looking horrified, but also they're not leaving, so obviously they're enjoying it. So it's like that hypocrisy thing that they're like wanting to portray here. And also what I find really interesting is specifically where I paused it here, we see this light right over the head of the pole dancer, who here is wearing wings. So she's the angel in this, right? She is, and I've touched upon this in my videos before, a woman in white, usually, you know, it's a trope. The woman in white usually is wearing like a white dress or something, and in this case she's wearing the white wings. She's supposed to symbolize purity and innocence. And so what's really interesting is that above her head, instead of like a cross or, you know, the Jesus on the cross, they have here a devil's head. So that's really an interesting choice with the statements that they're trying to make here, and that makes a lot of sense, honestly. And okay, so we have so many of these really fast shots going on. Like, it's really beautifully shot. Like, we have very consistent lighting, and the color grading is very beautiful. It's very warm toned, and then we have the really cool tone background, which looks really nice. And then all of these guys that we see, like, all of them have this almost, I don't know what they, so we have these lights behind their heads, which is supposed to look with a little bit like a halo. Again, everything is very sort of, I mean, it's very literal, right? Because they're priests, but even in the lighting, they're referencing Christianity a lot, which is very cool cinematic sort of influence here. And I really like the scene, or the set that the band is in. It's beautiful. It's a lot of candles. I can see, like, here some of these aren't actually candles. They're probably LED lights with like flickering effects, because it's really unsafe to have so many open candles and open fire on a set, right? Because they're moving, you have cameras moving, you have all your crew around. So usually they won't actually, they'll try to limit the amount of actual fire on a set. So it's very, very well done. It's like you can tell that they, and here too, oh, let me see where it is. There's so much going on here. There's just so much interesting stuff. And a lot of textures, and if you've been watching some of my videos now, I really like texture. So, love that. So let's continue watching. We're still seeing some of the kids outside, and yeah, so let's go. Let's pause it again there. Because I also wanted to point out is that the costumes are gorgeous. We already saw some of the cardinals or priests, whatever, costumes. They look really good. And also I love, like we saw the headdress of the pole dancer now. It's a beautiful costume. And I don't know, like their eyes on her leg here or something. Very interesting. And her hair is really beautifully done. Like it's maybe, I don't know, it feels like there's some significance to these being like eyes on all of these straps on her. And then we have the kids outside. There's something interesting happening here with the colors in the sky, and also this set is beautiful. I'm guessing that we have a set here and there's green screen behind it where they've imposed all of this imagery of like the twisted trees and the sky. So again, like the costumes of these kids, very nice. Like they fit with the color scheme, and sort of I'm guessing that they remind me a little bit of like the Oliver Twist style orphans. And if they're going to be making some sort of point about organized religion, like I feel like the opening sentence would probably have been better to be something like organized religion is a crime against humanity, because the amount of suffering that has been brought onto humans by a lot of organized religion, I think, is a little bit more specific than saying society. But let me not get too hung up on that. That's semantics maybe, but I'm curious to your thoughts for the reasoning for that line. So let me know in the comments. We may find out in a bit, but I'm curious to see where that's going to go. I'm not sure what's going on with the lights here in the sky. Like, is there some sort of cosmic thing happening here? Like, I am very curious to see. Okay, that's so cool. That is so cool, and a twist I didn't quite see coming, although I did mention like I was getting some senses of like maybe something cosmic happening. Maybe, you know, she is actually, she turns out to sort of be the demon, right? So she is now maybe the demon figure that we saw on the wall behind her. So I will say what's really cool is that I had just pointed out the eyes on those straps on her costume, and then like the next moment these kids are like blinding themselves and her face is starting to contort, and I'm guessing that they're sort of trying to imply like, even though, you know, you're watching us and we can't see some of this stuff, we're still watching you too. And that's really cool. And now we have with these kids, first of all, like the kids with the nooses, really kind of awful imagery, not a fan, but sure, shocking and effective, I guess. And just really kind of horrible. What I do love though is that they're in a circle and these skeleton creatures come up. Maybe again they're sort of, you know, maybe those are supposed to signify or symbolize these sort of church, like, people that are trying to kill them, older generations maybe. Like I was getting a very strong like, is this a story about how generations, like older generations, are punching down on younger people and kids, and restricting them, limiting them, killing them, right? So here obviously we have this woman who is now sucking the life force probably out of this priest figure. Very cool looking. The other guys are just standing there kind of horrified, waiting for their turn, I suppose. They're here like, ooh, let's see and wait when our turn is. Anyway, that's my a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, where people are just standing around and waiting to be killed. I don't know if that was me, like I'd be running. I prefer for my characters to be running and make it a bit more interesting to see what happens on screen. But we don't always have that liberty with music videos, because there's just a lot going on, and like you only have like 4 minutes to tell your story, so chop chop, right? And here I am kind of tearing this apart and like deconstructing it way more probably than anyone else would. But you know, it looks spectacular, and I love, even though the bits with the kids are kind of horrifying to me, it does look great, like very well shot and designed and all of that. So yeah.
Drink the Kool-Aid,
Okay, before we end into the finale of this, I wanted to say is the feather seems really significant here. They already foreshadowed the bit with the feather early on, where and I already wanted to point it out, but I forgot. But there was this very brief moment where we saw the feather, and I was like, ooh, that feels like a little bit of foreshadowing. Because usually when something is so significantly placed in what we're seeing, right, and the light was directing to it, like clearly we were meant to see that and take it in. It's like there's something about this feather. I'm trying to think, you know, usually like that's the feathers, think of like the white doves, stand for peace. So also we see here the kids are taking off their blindfolds, these skeletons fall away, and I'm hoping they're gonna stand up, you know, for themselves and fight the good fight and win. And I'm sure that that's what it's going to lead to, is that they're going to be the victors here. At least I hope. Right? It would suck if they would be shot after all. Anyway, interesting messages here. Like I'm just trying to take it all in. There's a lot. Like it's the music. It's a great song. There's a lot of imagery going on here, a lot of symbolism to take in just on a first watch. So forgive me if I'm not catching everything. And I invite you, the viewers, really to come and tell me like, what am I missing, and what is some more of like the story and the lore here? Because I could talk all about like the cinematic craft here and how they're doing a lot of this. But I'm probably missing out on some stuff. So definitely let me know. And we love having these discussions in the comments, and I love learning from all of you. So definitely let me know. I read everything, just so you know. So I'm really enjoying the video so far. And I will say, like, the editing is so fast-paced. It's so fast that it's hard to take everything in. And it's I would have liked a little bit of a slower pace, so I have a little bit more time to digest what I'm seeing. But it's a trick that they often use in metal videos, is to just have really, really fast editing to go with the music. We have seen some videos now that I've reacted to on my channel where the editing pacing is slightly slower, where it's almost a little counter, to what we're used to seeing in these videos. So something to consider. Do with it what you will. It's not really a critique necessarily, it's just like an observation.
What if it's like la 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 la.
I want to pause that and see what the text said. I'm gonna try and find that, because now I'm really interested what kind of subliminal messaging we're getting. Did you see the flash of, there was a line in the screen? Oh, and now as I'm pausing this, by the way, again, like this costume is gorgeous. I'll just say it again. It's really beautiful, and this actress and performer is doing just an excellent job. I love how she looks like the upside down cross, by the way. Like again, we get a lot of like Christian satanic kind of imagery here, and here of course she too is like, even her hair is like she's on the cross upside down. Very cool. And the eye on the top of her face, again, I'd like to, you know, I pointed out the eyes on her costume, but I hadn't seen the one on her forehead yet. Very cool. And of course now all of these guys, they're dead. They've been sucked dry for all of their life force. Okay, I found it. It's just one frame that took me a little bit of effort. Step out of the coma. I find this stuff really interesting because there's a lot of ways that you could interpret this, right? And I don't want to get too much into like current events, but there's a lot of ways that you could interpret this. That's just what I'm going to say about it.
This was going into some shit like that.
Right, that's it. I appreciate how ambitious this video was. That was huge. They had so many things going on, beautiful costumes. They had like these 3 big sets there, where the one that they had the band, the one that they had the pole dancer, performer, and the priests and the kids. That was a lot. And just overall really beautifully shot, really beautiful. You know, especially the lighting really stood out to me. There was a lot of active camera movement, and I've touched on this before. There's also sort of like the stereotypical thing to do with metal videos is to just have a lot of like really active, like shaky camera movement going on. And we definitely had some of that with the band specifically, not as much with the other scenes. And that made sense narratively as well, right? Like we'll have more movement with the band that's playing, and then we get to see a bit more of the story. Even though it was still edited at a very brisk pace, it was very interesting, very well done. You could see that they did probably spend a good amount of money on shooting this video. And interesting messages. I'm really interested about your takeaway on these, and like maybe Bring Me the Horizon has said some stuff. Like I have no idea like what kind of message they put out in the world, which maybe I should actually research that a little bit. But I find them very interesting, and it seemed like they're trying to be really bold, obviously like killing priests here and like having kids almost be shot, which again is also kind of reminiscent of all of the school shootings in the United States. Like it's imagery that is sensitive to a lot of people, I think. So it's definitely got a lot of shock value going on. It was an interesting video. Let's just say that. And yeah, I've already said it before, but let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and join me for the next one. Peace.